Hi, my name is Sheila Huff, and I'm going to discuss the discussion of strategy for the Goodwill of Middle Tennessee. Goodwill, let me give you a little history about the Goodwill industry. Goodwill started in 1902 when a minister, Reverend Edgar J. Hims from Boston, recognized that a need to help people. Soon after that, people start opening up Goodwills that was mirrored after his program. The Goodwill of Middle Tennessee started their program in 1957. At first, their program was geared towards just people only for disability. They found the need for people of the needs, people that needed jobs because they were drug users, people that didn't have a lot of job experience. So they started with that mission. When I spoke to a Goodwill employee, they told me about their mission, their strategy, and their mission. It's like a three-part strategy. The first one is for people to donate. How they get people to donate is they have retail stores everywhere for people to drop off their goods. They have pickup services. They have online services. They give people tax credits for donation. The next thing is for people to shop. Of course, without shopping, Goodwill cannot operate without shopping. Their mission would never be achieved. So it's 165 retail stores around in the Middle Tennessee and West Tennessee area. The last and the most important thing is for people to have a mission. Goodwill mission is to help people with disability, to help people that cannot find jobs. Without the donation and for people to shop, this mission cannot be achieved. So it's a good thing to give to Goodwill. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Christina Wright, and I'm here to talk to you about the internal environment of your company, Goodwill. For starters, usually Goodwill elicits some sort of response from everyone because most people have heard of it. It's very highly brand recognized, and there are a lot of strengths in it, but to be honest, I would say that there are more weaknesses. I know your CEOs get paid six-figure salaries, whereas your employees get paid because of your special wage certificate. They get paid, 11 cents or something very low in that manner. I know that's not the case in the Middle Tennessee area. However, people will typically not support that if they know, that's what their employees are getting paid. There are new societal pushes towards, being fair and non-discriminatory practices, especially with the millennial generation. And so I think that's really important to keep in mind. Like I said, the strengths that Goodwill has is that they have very good intentions. I just don't think the execution is being properly done, and I think that's something that you guys should definitely look at. Like I said, you guys, you are very highly known all across the country, obviously. A lot of people donate to you, and you guys do a lot of good things like place employment, job training, stuff like that. So there's a few things that need to be fixed, and unfortunately for you guys, the weaknesses are, especially with the new millennial generation, they're outweighing the strengths that you guys have had and that have worked for you in the past.
Hello, my name is Ryan Richardson, and I'm going to talk about the external environment of Goodwill. And I'm going to begin with a few of the threats that Goodwill has. One of the biggest threats is the perception that Goodwill isn't what they started as. They started as a grassroots organization to help the poor and to help poor communities and to help people with disabilities. And it seems like Goodwill throughout the years has been successful, which is a good thing, but has turned into a big business where its competitors are Walmart and Dollar General. And people don't really think it's serving those communities like it used to. And because of that perception the public holds, it's a huge threat to Goodwill. And along the same lines is the perception that Goodwill is only for poor people, it's only for elderly people, it's only for people of low status, and people with high status really don't shop at Goodwill. And millennials don't really identify with shopping a place that poor people shop at. So that's definitely a threat to Goodwill. But on the lighter side, as far as a couple opportunities, Goodwill is they are invested in the local communities, and it gives them a chance to spread their word to different avenues. They have the hearts of their communities, and they have the hearts of their supporters. And the millennial generation really has the same values as Goodwill. They value sharing, they value donating, they value equality. And Goodwill has the opportunity to capitalize on that, being in those local communities and having the hearts of their supporters. And those are just a few of the big threats and the big opportunities I saw. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mark Hamlet, and I'm here to talk about the current financial situation at Goodwill as far as whether or not they're progressing or not. And just from looking at the information that we had a chance to research, it looks like we're rolling in the money, baby! But seriously, financially speaking, Goodwill seems to be continuing to head in a direction that leads to continued success. Over the past 3 years, Goodwill has managed to decrease their revenue to expenses ratio, which is very important when the community is looking at your record and trying to figure out whether or not they should donate to your nonprofit. It's mainly important to keep that number around 1, because the closer that number is to 1, the higher your rating is considered to be as far as in the industry, as far as your expenses do not outweigh your revenue, nor does your revenue outweigh your expenses. So everything is in balance and is in harmony, basically. So that's a good thing. Over the past few years, continuous improvements in balancing between revenues has been a spark at Goodwill, which is good, because the previous years before that, those numbers weren't as close to the 1, which is the ideal range for a nonprofit. So it's good that the continuing trends are pushing more in that direction. Goodwill went from $75 million in sales from 2013 to $78 million in sales in 2014. Having a $3 million increase is definitely a good thing for the balance sheet. But just to kind of wrap it up, Goodwill has continued to have a positive influence in the community and increased their giving in the areas of sales programs, career solutions, and general administrations. Financially, the future looks pretty solid for Goodwill. The main things that they might want to work on is their hourly wage employees. If they could maybe increase that number to help balance that 1-to-1 ratio that they're looking for as far as revenue and expenses, that would definitely be a plus, and definitely continue to increase employee morale, which overall will lead to the end customer having satisfaction. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Corbin Hendrickson, and I'm speaking on the Goodwill Strategic Concerns that they may have in the current industry today. One of the most important things that Goodwill needs to be concerned with is that evolving their distribution model to keep the interests of the community in mind. Since they have locations throughout the United States in individual communities that need different things, they need to be sure that allocating time, money, clothing, and talent to each community in need as a high priority. They need to be able to respond to individual local needs. Moving forward, they need to ensure that their development program is effective, from taking unplaceable candidates into and transforming them into placeable candidates. Not being effective in this category can cause uncertainty in Goodwill's development program, and could lead to their candidates being not placed well in potential job markets. Another strategic concern they need to be concerned with is identifying and obtaining key talent to their company, making sure they stay innovative and current with the times. And in doing that, they need to be sure that the people that they bring onto their team have a unified, or they enhance the unified corporate message that Goodwill has. And in conclusion, their activities are extremely visible to their competitors, such as their way of getting resources and allocating them, and their development program. So being aware that their strengths are visible to the competitors is a need for Goodwill to participate in continuous improvement to protect their company.
So what do you feel like are some of the current thrift and retail trends in the industry?
Well, for one, I think Plato's Closet is probably the leader right now as far as who millennials are going to for thrift clothes. You know, if I'm gonna go get some thrift clothes, I might go to Goodwill. I'm absolutely not gonna go to Salvation Army because yeah, they're not even on my radar. But I will probably go to.
I think the
Plato's
reason that
Closet.
people go to Plato's Closet more is because, you know, like they are more current, like their clothing styles are more current than like what I've seen at Goodwill. Like, and no offense to Goodwill, but like their clothing styles are like a lot for more older people. Like I don't really find clothes that I like at Goodwill. I love Plato's Closet though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also in Plato's Closet, we see that they have a much more in-depth screening system. So it eliminates the whole sifting through that you experience at Goodwill.
And
Right.
Plato's Closet is more age specific for the younger crowd. Everything in Plato's Closet is mostly geared towards younger.
True. And you know, our generation is like now microwave generation, and Goodwill is a treasure hunt every time. You can't go on Goodwill. If I say I want a red hoodie, I can't just go in there and find my red hoodie. I have to search through everything.
Yeah,
look
and
for
like
my
especially
size.
with our generation, we're all about being time efficient. You know, like we don't have time. We might have the time, but we don't have the. You know, we're a lazy generation.
I don't have the patience, honestly. to do
Yeah,
a good
exactly.
Well, I guess with that being said, what do you feel like are some of the things or adjustments that Goodwill needs to do in order to stay relevant?
Well, for one, I think like we just said with the whole patience thing, I think it needs to be more, better categorized. You know, so if I want that red hoodie, I could walk in, get my red hoodie, walk back out in 5 minutes, and I don't have to be there searching for half an hour.
Yeah, that's true. And like also like just kind of a smaller thing, like the music, like opposed to Plato's Closet, like there's just more pop hit radios or pop hit songs from the radio that are in Plato's Closet, whereas like, I mean, I'm only 21, I don't know any of the songs that Goodwill plays.
Look, in my opinion, the stores should be decorated more. They should have more advertising. The store should be more appealing to customers, especially younger customers, because right now it's kind of a drag.
Right, and
type
like
of feeling.
you gotta
Yeah,
revamp
yeah,
online presence. Like there's not very
basically.
much of an
There's
online
not
presence.
even.
And also, I mean, with the developing age of the internet, developing a concrete, attractive online presence is also something that they need to consider going
It's
into
a
the
must.
future.
Yeah, allow more of their merchandise to be bought via online.
Mhm.
Yeah, they can access a lot more. Many more customers can access their products.
And because of where they are now, as far as how big their business is, one of their main competitors is Walmart. And with Walmart, you can buy anything online. They got some good music playing probably, and you can go in there for 5 minutes, find what you want.
And,
Right,
and then also the Dollar General store is one of
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the other big thing is like until my professor said a few days or like last week or whatever, whenever he talked, I didn't even know that Goodwill took cars. Like they don't have a very good I don't even know like what kind of services they offer.
Exactly. Goodwill needs to definitely advertise what services
Definitely
they offer.
market, like they could come onto college campuses and you know, like if they want to reach out to the millennial generation, then
That's how you do it.
I think they should definitely specifically reach out to the younger generation.
Well, what types of action steps could Goodwill possibly do to reach out to millennials?
Well, I think for one, they could come on any college campus, have maybe a donation. They could sell clothes because we don't have much money as college students. We're kind of struggling. So I think if they were to come in and give any kind of helping hand on the college campus.
right, like, and that's kind of like what we mentioned, like Plato's Closet, like they'll buy your clothes from you, which is why, you know, they have like I said, they have a larger screening process. And I think if Goodwill, you know, I understand that the point of Goodwill is to donate clothes, and that's a great thing. But if you want to engage the millennial generation, like, even if you pay us like 50 cents for, you know, we're making something. Like, we're all about making something. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a lot, especially us being at a college age, you know, we're totally broke.
Yeah, and also they should if they want to appeal to young people, they appeal to young people with a young person. They get a trendy person to represent the Goodwill, to endorse Goodwill, and probably younger people will, come to the stores and, be more involved with giving the Goodwill and shopping at Goodwill.
Absolutely.
So you mean maybe like a star in Hollywood or something to kind of endorse or co-sign with
Well,
Goodwill?
I don't even know that it necessarily has to be like someone that famous.
Okay.
Just young, trendy person.
Yeah, for example, Macklemore mentioned Goodwill, and he features Goodwill in one of his songs.
Yeah. I
Creating
think
a
if
lot
they
of
would have
circulation,
mentioned
and
it,
especially millennials.
absolutely. Absolutely.
I think for millennials, there's a really high attraction to be able to dress retro, like an old style, to appear cool and individualistic. Goodwill already has a very good base for that, and just expanding more on that aspect, maybe having feature items online could really engage the millennial.
And kind of what they said
generation.
earlier, you gotta like really change the perception, because right now the perception is if you shop at Goodwill, you know, like we don't want, like we know that we are broke, but we don't want to be perceived that way. So it's all definitely about perception.
So in all, Goodwill needs to change their image to appeal to younger people.
All right, thank you very much for that input. Hopefully some of these wonderful ideas will be applied to Goodwill's strategy in order for them to become a more successful company.